What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Movies That Make You podcast. Season 2 is in full gear, and so we are super excited for what we got going on this season. Just to let you know what that means, we still have our weekly Prepisodes where we discuss movies to watch in preparation for a new release hitting theaters. I got my buddy POPpaGoss on those each and every week. Those drop on Mondays at 6 a.m. Also, we have our Creators Conversations. This is where we're interviewing people from the business and beyond to discuss what they do to create and how they create their art. So be on the lookout for that. We're also doing our monthly watch-alongs where we pick a movie to watch. We live stream our conversation on YouTube. This week, we've got Papanaut back in the house again for the Odyssey Prepisode. We're going to be talking about Troy, 300, and Oh Brother Where Art Thou. It's going to be an epic episode. We hope you also check out our website at moviesthatmakeyoupodcast.com. There you can see all of our social links. You can listen to the podcast. You can watch the podcast. We also have our merch store. You can find tons of merch for Movies That Make You and our friends. We also have a link to our letterbox where you can see all the movies that we watch in preparation for the new releases, but also the movies that make you laugh, the movies that make you cry, the movies that make you scream, and everything in between. So before we get to this week's episode, let's check out what we got coming up on the Movies That Make You podcast. Next week, we've got the Evil Dead series gearing up for Evil Dead Burn. We've invited Laser Wagon to be on the podcast for that week as we talk about all the previous Evil Dead movies. The week after that, we're welcoming Chris Valentine back on the show to talk about all the Spider-Man movies up until this point. We've got Brand New Day dropping in theaters that Friday, so we want to be prepared because they could throw anything at us. On July 31st, we've got our special double feature live watch, and it's going to be a first watch for me, and that is Escape from New York, and a first watch for everyone almost, Escape from LA. We hope you'll join us for this John Carpenter special. The week after that, we've got a very special guest, stuntman, coordinator, company owner, Alex Armbruster. We had him on for a creators conversation. He's going to be back to prepare for Ice Cream Man, dropping in theaters, the new Eli Roth film. So we're going to be talking about the original Ice Cream Man. We're going to be talking about Thanksgiving, which Alex starred in. We'll also be talking about Hostel and Cabin Fever, both from Eli Roth, because you know what? We all scream for ice cream. Hope those episodes excite you. So without further ado, let's get to the podcast. We are back with another episode of the Movies That Make You podcast. I am Sprang. I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. POPpaGoss. What's up, my brother?
What is going on, everybody?
And he is lit up. The colors are flashing in his new digs, digging the look. And we are excited to welcome back our good friend, Mr. Nick Garza, Papanaut himself, in the house again. We are so excited to have you, brother.
Happy to be back, guys. I think that all of the color in my office is rubbing off, and slowly but surely it's coming true that Josh is growing into me.
It's true. It's true. He's getting more and more like you every day.
Nick is now in the Movies That Make You Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So everybody,
he
applause.
Is.
I did it one time and I already, wow, that's incredible.
Most views of any episode.
No, that Spielberg episode just like we kept checking every day. And we're like, holy crap, people love Spielberg. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And
then maybe it was because they saw the hat Nick. And the white beard, and they were like, "Is that Spielberg?" They saw the glasses. It's like a similar vintage.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think people. I know a lot of people were excited that you were our guest too.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I am flattered and honored. I'm glad to be back, and thanks for giving me just master directors,
Right.
just
I know.
You want to do Steven Spielberg? Sure. You want to do Chris Nolan? Yeah, I'll do Chris Nolan.
It's fine.
You want to do Kubrick? That's cool.
I could probably I could wing it. One of my buddies was telling me, he was like, "You guys talked for over 2 hours," and I was like, "It's Steven Spielberg, dude."
Well, we talked about a lot of movies too, because on average, if we do at least 3 to 4 movies, I mean, it usually goes at least an hour, 15, hour and a half. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we did what, five Spielberg movies? Yeah. And a lot of them are heavily detailed. They're not just alien movies, they're heavily detailed. So, yeah, it was a great conversation. It was good stuff.
All right. So I know you've done stuff on your Instagram channel. I know that you've talked about it, but I would like to ask you your thoughts on Disclosure Day. That was our last episode. I know that it's kind of hit or miss.
I'm glad that we're talking
a lot of
about
people,
this.
Right? So I know you have an opinion, and I'd love to hear you share your thoughts.
I want to catch up with you guys too. So, if anybody's watching this and you got shamed because you like Disclosure Day, tell them to come find old Josh because I loved Disclosure Day. I loved it. And I think I did not think it was going to be like a radical hot take to really enjoy a Steven Spielberg summer blockbuster about aliens. But dude, I couldn't have imagined that there was going to be such a backlash against that movie. And it was strange, dude. Like I felt it right as I came out of the movie because I heard a couple of the folks that worked there that were coming in to clean the theater and they were talking about the movie as we were leaving and like just to each other, not to us. And I heard one of them say like, "Yeah, man, I didn't get it, I didn't get this one." Like talking about Disclosure Day. Like cuz I think the guy next to him was like, "Have you seen it yet?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I just didn't get it." And I was just sitting there, I was like, I mean, Spielberg movies are the most gettable movies. Like, there's something that should relate in here in a Spielberg movie. If he has not done that, he has completely lost it. I mean, even in Crystal Skull, I think there's stuff that you go like, oh, that's a Spielberg thing that taps somewhere deep into the core of my being. So I don't know, man. I don't know if this is where I start to really feel the age. Like, I am a big fan of stuff that is just no longer possible. A lot of people seem to take issue with just the reality that the movie presents in which we would need to get disclosure information to a news station to put it out. Did you guys feel like that was kind of the main thing that stuck in the what did they
Yeah.
call it? Stuck in your craw or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was able to just like let go and accept that this is what's happening. I mean,
Right.
we're dealing with a movie that's positing a lot of fantastic stuff. Maybe not that fantastic stuff, depending on what you've
Right,
been
right.
reading, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I had a blast with it. And I thought it was a great Spielberg flick. I think it's the best thing he's done in a long time. I think Emily Blunt should be nominated for that. I think
Oh,
she did
yeah.
an incredible performance. I think that's the best thing I've seen her in, and she's not a bad actress. I mean, that's a solid actress. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I really, really liked it. I think I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd, and I'm not in like the safe zone on Letterboxd, when you see all your buddies. So I knew I was like, dude, this is a much more varied graph than I was expecting. I was expecting a slope up to 4 and then a dip,
Yeah.
and no, it's like all over the place.
Yeah.
Like a Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie. You know what I mean? It's just like some people are loving it, some people are hating it. Very weird. All right, so you guys, what did y'all think? Because I honestly haven't caught up with y'all on this.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was a little bit, like, underwhelmed,
Oh, you don't
and
have
I
to
don't
defend it to me, dude. I'm
and
cool
I
with my take.
and I
Like by all means.
well, yeah, but I don't know why. Like, I don't have any, like, reason to go, "Oh, I didn't like this," or "I didn't like that." I think there was just some things that just threw me a little bit, like, I thought it was beautifully shot. I thought, like, all the scenes were really well put together. I thought the acting was great. There was just something that didn't, like, grab me by the heart and like, you know, kinda like I don't know I don't necessarily know what I was expecting. It just didn't grab me like I'd hoped it would, but I still walked away going, "That was a really good movie," you know? So but it just didn't hit that top tier, so that's my take.
I wonder if it was the characters, because when you say it didn't grab you by the heart, it's like, admittedly, the aliens are not ET in this movie.
Mhm.
It's not somebody that you're like, oh, they eat Reese's Pieces. Like they're alien aliens. I mean, they're still aliens that look like gray aliens. I guess I should have said spoiler alert, but I feel like everyone that's going to see it has seen it at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not cute. I mean, they're just they're aliens. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And closer to the Close Encounters aliens, I feel, but even a little bit more daunting, like all tall, kind of
Mhm.
seemingly spooky-ish aliens. So I get not relating to the aliens a bit, although I don't understand people if you couldn't feel for them, the scenes where they're playing the tapes where they're being tortured and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
oh
That to
yeah,
me,
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
like I was having a hard time emotionally several times, like I do with every Spielberg movie. That really got me. And then the scene where Emily Blunt comes into the hangar and the her house, her childhood home, has been reconstructed. That got me in a big way because it's just like it's the last thing that she wants to see,
Mhm.
you know. And then it's revealed to her, but it's also this comfort of like your home. You can feel safe here. It's such a powerful dynamic, and to see it recreated in a hangar like that, I think it was just
Yeah.
a masterstroke. But yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, I guess, I mean, I will say that her character is just kind of a news lady. You know what I mean? It's like you don't get a lot of backstory on her. You don't get a lot of assumptions of where she's going after that. And the guy that busted the data out, like they had purposeful things to do in the movie, but kind of like Richard Dreyfuss, you're just kind of like they're vessels for the story, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I will
Anyway,
say I really enjoyed the setup, like the way that the story unfolded, and like because you're seeing the house being built all the way up until that point, and you don't really know what's going on. I loved that. I loved seeing the background. I loved the fact that there's this mystery going on, and they're trying to. You don't really know as the audience, you don't know what's going on, and the characters don't know what's like the main two characters don't really know what's going on, and it's just kind of they're kind of thrown into this narrative, and then they remember their backstory, and then we get to see kind of where they met before and all that stuff. So I do like it.
from the jump, starting at the wrestling match and then,
Yeah,
what is happening here? I swear to
yeah,
God, we're not just going to talk about Disclosure Day, but like that, like I love a movie that just goes. It just starts and you're like, okay, here's what's happening. They have to move
hmm
this USB drive, something important's on it. We're probably going to see that later. And we found who the characters were throughout that journey. I don't know,
hmm
man. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, yeah. I think I need to see
Josh,
it
did you
again, but
go
yeah, go
ahead?
Yeah,
ahead,
no,
Josh.
I kind of agree with both of what you both said, but definitely like the standout is Emily Blunt. I mean, she's always been talented. Thank you. She's always been super talented, but and now I mean, she's worked with pretty much all the big. I mean, she hasn't worked with Quentin yet, but I'm sure it's coming eventually.
He's
But I
got
mean,
one
she's
more
worked
movie, supposedly.
Nolan. She's worked with Spielberg now. I mean, tons of good people, but yeah, no, it was. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was. I, I wouldn't say it was. I think it was the right amount. Like the runtime was good. I don't feel like it was too long, and I don't feel like they left anything out. It'll be interesting to see. Spielberg always usually has good bonus stuff like on the physical media, so it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, definitely the standout is Emily Blunt, and then that I reached out to that. She's actually like a news reporter in real
hmm
life, and she kind of was like the breakout character in the movie. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now, but
With the
I
girl
reached
from the
out to
end.
her.
The very end, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody was like talking about her, which I thought was cool because I think she didn't sign up for that. She just kind of got cast in this role as like herself, basically, and now like she's super popular. So that's cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm always down for Spielberg, no matter what it is. Like, if he wants to go back to his dramas and stuff, that's fine. We know we don't see a ton of from Spielberg is we don't see comedies like ever. I mean, I bet he could do a solid comedy.
Well, come on, catch me if you can.
No, that
Pretty
I'm
good,
not
yeah.
saying he doesn't do comedies at all, but like he just very rarely like he focuses on his period pieces and his well, aliens, obviously, since we had a whole episode. When we did that episode, I was like, man, he has a ton of extraterrestrial movies.
He does
Yeah.
now, for sure. Did either of
The
you guys get to go see it on film or no?
I saw it in IMAX. It was digital IMAX, but not film on IMAX. But we were at they did the live broadcast from New York of Spielberg and Blunt doing a Q&A with Jason Horowitz. So
Oh, that's cool.
we went to that. That was like a 30-minute pre-show. It was that evening, the Friday night. So right before the 7 p.m. showing or whatever. So they forgot to start the movie. So somebody had to go back out and say, "Hey, can you start the movie now?" Like, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, we'll do that." But we saw the live broadcast, which was pretty cool, and they actually had like a QR code you could send in questions, and I
That's
sent
cool.
one in. I didn't get one answer asked, but actually Josh actually asked my question for the most part. Like the 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 themes of his alien movies are, like we talked about on the episode, are a lot more hopeful than a lot of alien movies out there. And so kind of is this kind of a continuation of that hopeful journey that you want to have with the aliens. So it's good.
Josh Horowitz, not me, Josh.
Yeah,
Just to
yeah,
clarify to
I
the
figured,
audience.
yeah, the
Yeah,
happy, sad, confused guy. He's a
yeah,
yeah,
great
yeah.
interviewer, man.
No,
That
he's
guy's
really
yeah,
an
yeah.
inspiration, for sure.
yeah.
He makes it look so like smooth. Like most of those guys that I watch, they're so smooth. Like it's just people talking to each other. It's pretty cool.
But I
Which
bet they didn't
again, like
start that way, right?
you and I talking is totally different than like if any of us met Steven Spielberg. I think we all would
Right.
trip over
Yeah,
ourselves. Like,
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few celebrities, like, most of the time, I've met so many of them at these cons and stuff, like, it's just second nature to just kinda, like, talk normal, but there are a few that I mean, I would if I ever met them, I don't know what I would say. I'd be like Jack Nicholson. I have no
Mhm.
clue what I would like, what do you
I
say
wouldn't
to
say a
Jack Nich
word.
No, yeah, I'd be too afraid I'd, like, say the wrong thing. I'd be like, "I don't wanna
Yeah.
make you mad."
Not wasting a second of your time, sir. Thank you, I think maybe. And
Yeah,
he could
thank
just
you.
punch me and that would be fine.
It was, it was pretty cool though, so that Q&A with Spielberg, the live one, Sprang sent me a video from his screening, and, Spielberg gave a shout out to Obsession. He was like, "I loved Obsession," and we had just interviewed Curry's dad, like, the week before, because he's gonna be on a creators conversation coming up, and,
It's awesome.
so we were just actually, he's gonna come back to do he's gonna do a Stephen King episode too because he loves Stephen King, so that's gonna be fun. Yeah,
It's
and
Jeff, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
Jeff Barker. Yeah.
I started
And so
following him
we
because it was cool. It's cool seeing him and his son talk. I'm just like,
yeah,
as a
Yeah.
he's
dad, I'm
like
like following him as a dad. Just
well, and
like, it's
he's
cool.
just so chill. Like I literally I saw him on a bunch of people's podcasts and I just was like, I'm gonna reach out to see what he said. He messaged me like 45 minutes later and was like, "Oh, I would love to. Yeah, let's do it." And we scheduled it. It was the next week. We sat with him for I don't even know,
Hour and
hour and a
15,
half
yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just, shared so much love for his kids, obviously. Uh, his other son, who's also named Jeffrey Barker, he was the production assistant or the key production assistant on the movie. And I just talked to him last night. He's going to be on on an episode as well. I'm trying to collect all the Curry family until we get to Curry, but
Should
yeah, but they're,
get them
yeah,
talking about it around their dinner table and then see if
right.
they'll. That's
In my
wise.
head, that's what I'm
On
like,
game.
"Man, I bet
Those
but
guys
I
were
mean,
so fun.
Jeff at this point has been on so many shows and, some small ones, some really big ones, and, so, like, he's just making his rounds, but he was so cool and super nice, and but I sent him the video that Sprang sent me of Spielberg saying, like, "I loved Obsession," whatever. He posted it on his Instagram page, and it got like 60,000 views, and like the cast of Obsession was like commenting and liking it. And like, I mean, he didn't, not that he needed to, but he didn't tag Spring and because it was Spring's video, but I think he just was caught up in like the excitement. So,
'Cause
and
we
then I
just
sent him a
talked about
video.
yeah.
He's on vacation right now with his family, and, I sent him a video last night. Stephen King was just
Mhm.
doing a podcast, and he was raving about how he can't stop thinking about Obsession, so I thought he would love that, so I sent
Yeah.
him that last night, but
Yeah, in the
he's
interview,
out of town right now.
that was the one thing he said in the interview. He's just waiting to see the Stephen King review. Like, he just is
Yeah.
hoping that Stephen King will say something, and so it was pretty cool to see it pop
Well,
up
because
this week.
we asked him who we always ask the creators conversation at the end, like a few rapid fire questions, and we asked him who he would want to get a drink or a coffee with, dead or alive, and his answer was Stephen King. He said
Yeah.
he loves Stephen King, loves his writing because he's a screenplay writer and stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. He actually wrote that short story that, Nikki tells in the movie, at the party, the Hansel and Gretel one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Jeff
some
wrote that.
dialogue, folks.
Yeah, he wrote that whole short story that like, that was his contribution to the script, so he told us all about that and how he came up with that, and it was just we can't wait for that conversation to come out, but yeah, it was really
I
cool,
hadn't
so
heard that yet. That's really
yeah,
interesting.
pretty
That's
sweet.
really awkward for Curry to have to direct
Yeah.
his dad writing that, through
Right?
the Nikki character. That's wild.
Well,
I don't know,
and
man.
Jeff talked about because Jeff has not a new family, but like he's started kind of brand new now, and he's got daughters with his new wife, and they're young. He's got like two daughters, so he was talking about that what he wrote, and he's like, I'm gonna eventually have to tell them, I'll show them this movie when they get older, and like I'll have to tell them about, this what this all translates to and stuff. So it was it was a cool like father moment where he worked on this awesome film. I think what we took away from it though, like that I loved was he just has so much love for Curry. Like it's so much love and support and like
Mhm.
not does it didn't make a single thing about, his involvement at all. He just was happy to be on set and he was on the set of his new movie that he's filming right now, the Anywhere But Ghosts or anything but Ghosts.
Yeah.
And he was telling us a little bit about that up in Canada and stuff. So yeah, it's just crazy. So fun times.
I
Yeah,
love when
man.
good things happen to good people, like the
Right.
Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Curry just insane. This movie's just become a pop culture phenomenon. It's nuts.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those things that people talk about forever. It's
Yeah.
one of those things like Clerks where it's like it
Hmm.
just broke the mold.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Love it.
exciting.
Yeah. And other films that are looking to break the mold, huh? We've got the
Wow.
Odyssey. Christopher Nolan's Odyssey is popping into theaters this Friday. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, you might not get them. It's sold out a lot of different places. I've got 4 tickets already, so I'm seeing it. I'm super excited. Nick, do you have tickets yet?
Of course I have tickets.
I
Everybody's got
figured you
tickets for
did.
the
I
Odyssey.
figured you did. Yeah, for sure.
What do I look like?
Anybody watching this has tickets, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Get your tickets.
70 millimeter, doing it again. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
excited.
And I'm
Absolutely
not trying to brag, but I've got 35 millimeter for the Thursday night and then 70 millimeter 3 times. So I'm super stoked. I'm like, and it's not because I have to see it in 7 millimeter. It's like I'm taking different friend groups to see it. I'm like, you have to see this in this format. Let's go. I get your ticket. Let's go.
I mean, if that's the format that the maestro wants me to see it in,
Exactly.
and so it'd be done. So I'm there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before we jump into these movies though, tell me a little bit about what you think about Chris Nolan, because I mean, he's a big director. He's hits all the cylinders for our generation. It's like we've been kind of following him since 99 with different things. So Memento, of course, and then blowing up Dark Knight. And what's your thoughts on Nolan as a director?
I mean, he's okay. No, man. I mean, he's a legend. I think that it's hard to. I look at Chris Nolan, and Chris Nolan's a director. You know what I mean? Like some people just like you see them and you're like, it's like Steven Spielberg. You look at him and you picture him or Sam Raimi, right? They have this iconic persona around them as a director. When you see a picture of them on the set, they're dressed a certain way, they look a certain way, they present a certain way. Like their own life is in a way they're directing themselves in it. Nolan always looks like he's dressed in like for a cold day in London. He just
Mhm.
looks kind of sleek and cool. You know what I mean? Like a briefcase guy. You know what I mean? Like somebody that I would have absolutely nothing in common with. He would hate this room that I'm sitting in right now. There's just too much going on. But I love his movies. I think that appreciation to detail, the clean lines that you see in his movies and then again in his wardrobe. Like he is this. He is whatever these movies are. Like him or think they're overrated. I think that he is some of his movies have really been the best of all time. Like I rewatched The Dark Knight about a month ago. Because sometimes you just want to like watch a comfort thing that you haven't seen it in a while. You want to make sure that your TV and your sound system are delivering the value that you paid for it. And so I threw in the 4K of The Dark Knight. Actually, I threw in the 4K of Batman Begins because if I'm going to watch one, I'm going to watch all three. And so I watched Batman Begins and I was like, damn, that's a great movie. And then I watched The Dark Knight. And, this past journey doing all this film stuff for the past year, like really focusing on it, right? And like trying to know enough to say something about it, into a camera that everybody's looking at. Like the appreciation that I have for that movie is like 100 times what it was when it came out. And I already thought it was like the best Batman movie of all time. But as far as a movie goes, just the way that movie clips along, I mean, it's a perfect film. And I know I said that a couple times during the Spielberg movie. Spielberg's got a couple of them too.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
these things happen and they've happened in our lifetime. Like I remember watching it and thinking it was great, but watching it again, you go, no, it's not just great. This is a perfect film. The performances are dialed in. every choice is flawless. No cut is a waste. Every sound, everything's just dialed perfectly. It's like a chef. It's like a meal that is just so perfect, and you go, man, this must be my anniversary or something, like what is this? So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like Nolan tries to deliver that every time to mixed results. Sometimes he gets too Nolan and you get something like Tenet where it's just like, this is too heady for anyone to wrap their head around. But then you're just enjoying the art of it. This restaurant doesn't serve the food that I enjoy the most, but the ambiance, my God, here we are. Like I still enjoyed coming here. The pictures look great. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then he comes back after that with Oppenheimer, where it's like the best of both worlds. You get the style and the substance. And I think that's what we're going to get with the Odyssey. I think that he's the only director currently that could tackle something like the Odyssey and make it something that's going to be selling out tickets for a 3-hour movie. So, and as a guy that loves going to the movies and seeing movies with a packed house full of people, I appreciate the hell out of Chris Nolan. So
Yeah.
that's my
100%.
that's my feelings.
I love it. I love it. I actually just saw a really good kind of social review by William Bibbiani where he said this is probably his most his sometimes he gets too heady, like you were saying, with things like Tenet and even Interstellar. It's a little bit cerebral for a lot of audiences. He said this is the most like emotionally grounded, like and horrific story he's ever told. And it's like it says it's his best movie. So William Bibbiani, he feels like it's Nolan's best movie, which is saying something, of course, when you just won the Oscar or nominated. Did he win for Oppenheimer? He didn't, did he? Did he win the Oscar
Ah,
Win which one?
for Oppenheimer? He didn't win, but he was nominated.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had
he was
stats
up
like that.
for,
Yeah.
yeah, I
I'm
know it
Greg Fargan.
was because it wasn't the record holder that year, but or no, I think it was actually. I think it was nominated for the most,
Yeah.
but it only won like 2 or 3 of the
Yeah.
awards that it was nominated for.
Either way, it's a
Um,
great film.
oh no, I'm sorry, it won 7 Oscars total. I'm sorry, not just a few.
I was
But
like,
yeah, he
Oppenheimer
was
won
up.
a ton of Oscars. I know that. I
No,
don't have a
he did.
Yeah.
doubt.
He did win. He won Best
Okay.
Director for
Okay.
Oppenheimer.
For
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
reason,
you
my
were right.
brain was not firing there.
No, you're good.
So
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. won Best Supporting Actor. Cillian Murphy won Best Actor, and he won. It won Best Picture, and he won Best Director.
So my favorite Christopher Nolan story is it was actually when they were prepping for Interstellar, and I read this article and it was talking about that they were going and scouting locations, and they were on this beach and they were walking, and everybody's just in their regular street clothes, and then they're like, yeah, there's a sand dune right past this little break of water that you can stand on, of course, for the water planet that they're going to land on, and they need a place to film where the so he just hauled off and started walking in his street clothes through the water to get to the sand dune, and the entire crew followed him, like no question, right? And so, like for me, I'm like, that's an incredible amount of trust and value that people will place and want to follow him anywhere, right? And it's kind of like it was super inspiring for me as someone who wants to be a leader of people, not in everything, but I wish I was that type of person. I want to be that kind of person, aspire to be that kind of a person where people will trust me if I say, "Hey, we need to go this direction." That they'll go, "Yeah, let's do it, no question." Now, there's also some side effects to making sure you're doing the right thing all the time. But anyway, I don't know. That was just a really fun story that I enjoy about Christopher Nolan and the people that he brings around him that know exactly what they're doing and make make a great movie with him. So it's good stuff.
Dude is Odysseus, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly, for sure. All right, we ready to jump into the movies?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm thinking we're do Troy first, and then we're gonna do 300, and then we'll end on Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Like I said, we're gonna be talking about 3 movies in preparation for the Odyssey. It's kind of crazy. I didn't realize how connected some of the stories were when I first kind of picked them. But we get Troy, and they have actually just the Troy begins, and the Greeks are making Agamemnon is making a treaty with Sparta. So that's kind of the connective tissue to 300. We also get introduced to Achilles, played by Brad Pitt, as this mighty warrior. He's really more interested in fighting the battles than he is trying to win any wars. He's just really talented at killing people. And so Agamemnon has got him on his side. And so he's won these wars. Because Paris falls in love with Helen, he takes her back with him to Troy, and now Agamemnon is going to conquer Troy if they don't submit to his rule. So they basically put Troy into siege. Achilles' cousin ends up getting killed. He challenges Hector to a battle and defeats him. And then as they're going in and conquering Troy, utilizing the Trojan horse, which is not actually in the Iliad, it's in the Odyssey. He ends up getting his ankle shot by Orlando Bloom's Paris, and that ends up causing him to be defeated for the first time in his life. So that was my attempt at a quick synopsis. Nick, share your thoughts on Troy.
That was way faster than the movie Troy.
Yes, trying to summarize.
But I still think everyone should see this movie. It is very much a product of the time. So Troy comes out in 2004. Okay. And that was the first note I took on it was I was 22 when this came out. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Because like I don't know about you guys. Did either of you guys read the Iliad or the Odyssey in high school by chance?
We had to read bits and part. We didn't read like the whole thing, but we were required as like a whole class to read bits and pieces of it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Same.
Very high level idea of what it is. It's one of those things like Beowulf, where it's such a fabled story, right? It's like one of the original stories. And so my dad's familiar with it. He took a Latin class in college, so a bunch of this stuff like, gets sprinkled over other things that I've consumed growing up. But when Troy came out and I watched it, again, I'm 22 years old. I remember sitting down, watching it and being like, man, this must be a pretty accurate portrait of what that story is like. And couldn't be more wrong. It's like the most 2004 take on a Troy movie ever. I mean, this is like Fast and Furious times. You know what I mean? Like the original Fast and Furious times. Like you could, if a tuner car sped into any of these scenes, it wouldn't feel weird, like, So rewatching it now, I mean, dude, I couldn't believe this was over 20 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going, this is total candy and it's a blast. I mean, first off, all of this stuff is fantasy, right? It's all stories, and like any of the reality that I might have mistaken for, maybe some of these things are like embellished. No, all of it's just complete, it's just a story. But, seeing, Pitt come in there as Achilles, who is 39, and just this god figure of Pitt, prime Pitt. I don't know, man. It was a wild trip. I'm sitting there watching this movie. I was really enjoying the hell out of it, but it's a very hammy take. I think it's the complete opposite of what we're about to see with the Odyssey. So, and it's a product of the time. Like 2026, Christopher Nolan, I feel like he can deliver an Odyssey that has some depth. Matt Damon's Odysseus is going to be very, grounded. I feel like we're going to feel for that character. The Odysseus in this movie is just kind of a guy who's just exactly trying to, he's trying to get this battle done, and then he's going to go home and, whatever. Not really a protagonist, not really a hero. I don't know about you guys, but I felt like it was very clear who the good guys and the bad guys were when I watched this the first time. And watching it again, I'm just like, everybody kind of sucks, Like, I don't think I'm on board with anybody in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I took a sizable amount of notes, but I want to kind of bounce around with you guys too. Like, what were y'all feeling revisiting this one? You guys had seen Troy before, right? This wasn't a first time viewing for anybody, was it?
It'd been a while,
Okay.
but yeah, I saw it at the video store. Not when it first came out, but probably like within 5 years after it came out. Like I rented it on DVD and watched it.
That's a bummer because I feel like this movie appreciates on a big screen.
Yeah, after I saw it, finally, I was like, I should have watched this on a big screen. But I've done that with a lot of movies, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, I don't know that I saw it in the theater. I think I might have 2004, just because of going to movies. Every Friday night, like, let's go to a movie. So I think I may have seen it in the theater, but rewatching it, I mean, I didn't feel like it was awful. I think the critics at the time might have kind of berated it, is what I remember. Is not a great movie, but I had a good time with the movie. And I actually feel like Brad Pitt's acting in this was really solid. There was a lot of moments where I fully believed his Achilles and the pain and the struggle. You know, I skipped kind of the part where he and Rose Byrne he falls in love with Rose Byrne, and then that he wants to give up on the war. You know, like there's some character development there. But like when he's super furious at Hector, like he's not letting anything go. I thought the swordplay was really good, unique. It didn't feel like anything like that kind of one-on-one battle. Like it lasted a good little bit. So I thought the choreography was really solid. And I was entertained the entire time. Kind of like you said, like the Fast and Furious, like it's I get that was a great analogy. And so I mean I think I was entertained the whole time, no matter how accurate it was. I walked away going, that was a fun story to enjoy on a big screen.
Now to the point of like the Fast and Furious times, right? Let's talk about the grooming in this movie. Because these are the most shaved people I have ever seen in my life. Like, I get Brad Pitt is a God's child, and absolutely. But I mean, we see him, the first time we see him in the movies, fully naked. He's being awoken to go to battle. He's kind of waking up like you imagine Brad Pitt waking up, like in the middle, like he had a long night. There's two women there.
Yeah.
And he has zero hair on his body. And he's just like, what do I got to do? Be Brad Pitt again? Okay. And he rolls out of bed. Orlando Bloom's hair, Eric Bana's hair in this movie. Like, dude, it like, I don't know. It is the most Hollywood 2004 barbarians I have ever seen. Like, they're on a beach. They've been there. Like, time passes too. It's like, we've been here for a week. There's a funeral going on in there. Camera cuts back. Everybody looks like they just got out of the shower, completely clean. I got a huge kick out of it.
It's
one of my notes is just all caps. There are 0 pubes in this movie.
Well, apparently Eric Bana is like super hairy too. Like his chest is like really, so like he kind of struggled with this movie because like he had to look like that. So they had a hard time like keeping him under control.
They put him in the Jackman box, right? Which is where they cut off your sleeves and they just kind of, because he has a little bit. He has the most chest hair of anyone in this movie. It's still not a lot.
Well, it reminds me, not quite as, obviously not as cheesy at all, but when I went to the theaters when I was a teenager and saw 10,000 BC, and I was just like, I don't understand. How are their teeth like pearly white? I don't get it. Like, that was my one takeaway. I was like, well, first we went to opening night and they didn't even have a midnight showing of that movie near me in Denver, which was very odd. So I'm like, is it going to get a opening night, whatever? Because my friends, we don't want to go see it. So we went the next night to like a 8:00 showing. And that was my biggest takeaway from that was like, Hollywood, why don't we try? Why don't we try? Can we just try at least?
Dentists weren't a thing at the time. That wasn't a job.
We're not like idiots. I mean, can you just like kind of make it realistic? That's all I'm asking.
I get the fantasy of it though. I mean, it's definitely a movie to get butts in seats. Like, Caroline wants to, absolutely. She's just like, yeah, that's exactly what people looked like at the time. And I'm like, yeah, totally. Sure. Dude, even Peter O'Toole, even the old people in this movie, Peter O'Toole has hair like my mom used to have, like in 94. It's like feathered. I was getting a kick out of all of the fashion in this movie. Dude, there's so many trailer lines in this movie. Like one of them, like a line that you write where you're like, this is going to come right before the big boom in the trailer. Like, one of them is there no one else? And you're just like, that's going to show up in the trailer.
That's great. Yeah.
Imagine a king who fights his own battles. Wouldn't that be a sight? I mean, you sassy Brad Pitt. They even do the Helen of Troy. Like one of them goes, Helen of Sparta, Helen of Troy. And I'm just like, yeah, that never, like the good lines in the movie are buried in these like trailer lines. Like every line for the most part in this movie is like the worst line from Batman Begins, which is, what's his name? Gary Oldman as Gordon when he's like, I got to get me one of these with the Batmobile. I'm like, you don't need that. Like Nolan finally dips low. This movie just embraces like, what is the easiest thing we could say right here? One of them I think is like, we have the greatest war needs the greatest warrior. when they're talking
Yeah.
about Achilles. I'm like, God, this is all trailer material. It's really, really
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, talking about Brad Pitt, like being, a godlike creature. Brian Cox said when he first walked on the set, he something, I don't know the exact quote, but he just said like everybody just stopped and like they were just, and Brian Cox said it was incredible what like seeing Brad Pitt for the first time on set because he's like, he just doesn't even seem real. And he was like, I'm straight, but like that guy was like he did look like a god. It was like, he said it was stunning just watching
yeah.
him walk on set.
I mean, what do you say? I mean, it's
Mhm.
literally a statue come to life, perfect form. You know what I mean? Like insane. And the swag on him. Like it would be one thing if he was just a hunk, but he didn't have really cool lines. But like the shade that Achilles throws, like knowing, like he's got that cocky, like I'm half God, like it is what it is. My favorite line, I think, in the movie is he just has this little spiteful line that he throws out at Hector when he shows up. Because by the way, how Achilles shows up to get you is he just drives up to your front door and starts screaming your name until you come out.
Yes.
And he's just going to be there.
Yeah.
Hector! He's just out there yelling. And so Hector comes out, and this is after he killed his cousin on accident because he thought the cousin was Achilles. Because again, the cousin, I mean, that is the hottest guy in San Marcos. You know what I mean? Like that guy isn't Brad Pitt, but he's definitely the Brad Pitt of New Braunfels or whatever. You know what I mean? And so this little line that Brad Pitt throws out, he takes his helmet off and he just says, now you know who you're fighting. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
God, that's so petty. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, you blind idiot. Now you're going to die. Look who's doing it. Like, it's just, I love it. Anyway, all of the violence in this movie. Are you guys close with your cousins? Like, super close?
Fairly.
I'd say so. Yeah.
I'm not. And all of the violence. All the violence in this movie is because of cousins. You know, they kill
Yeah.
Brad Pitt's cousin, or now we got to
Now
go
we're
to
at
war.
war. Yeah.
You know, then Brad Pitt kills
Hector.
Rose Byrne's cousin. There
Yeah.
are so many lines about you killed my cousin. Well, you killed my cousin. And I think about it, and I'm like, my cousins wouldn't do any of this for me. I wouldn't do any of this for my cousins.
Fair enough. Yeah.
We're bench riding tops. We'll go to the funeral, we'll send flowers. We're bummed. We are bummed. But
Yeah.
I am not going to sneak a horse into, whatever to avenge, they're going to watch this. They're going to be like, well, Nick, that really hurts. They're not going to watch this.
That's so great. I love your commentary, bro. So
Yeah,
good.
That's great.
they don't. I don't think they will.
Yeah.
And,
No,
then you know what you should do? Cut that clip and then cut Brian Cox in there when he's in the middle of Troy, really eating, and he's just like, "Let it burn, let Troy burn." Dude, he is so happy in that.
That would be a
scene.
good clip.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Josh, you got any backlot breakdown you want to share?
Yeah, there's some fun stuff. So, throwback to our first episode with Nick, this movie was actually nominated, believe it or not, for one Academy Award, Best Costume Design, from Bob Ringwood, who was also the costume designer for AI, which we talked about in the Spielberg episode.
Wow.
How
look
cool
at
is that? But not only that, he's also got not ties to Nolan, but ties to stuff Nolan's worked on. So he worked on pretty much all the early Batman movies: Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. He also worked on Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Demolition Man, The Shadow. So this dude's worked on like all these crazy, movies and stuff, but Batman movies, and Chris Nolan obviously did the Dark Knight trilogy.
There you go.
Kind of funny. So Brad Pitt plays Achilles. He actually tore his left Achilles in the movie while he was working on it,
That's
which is
fun.
insane. You
The
can't
irony.
even make that up. Him and Eric Bana also had kind of a bet of sorts in their epic battle because they didn't want to use stunt doubles. They wanted to actually fight for real. And so they paid for every accidental hit. So it was $50 for each blow for a light hit and $100 a blow for like a hard hit. Pitt had to pay Bana $750 by the end of it, and Bana didn't pay a dime. So Brad Pitt was literally trying to kick the crap out of Eric Bana, basically.
Yeah.
He's got the money. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
fine.
not worried. Plus, he's like, he's too cool. I feel like Bano is probably egging him on. Just be like, if you see some of Eric Bana's early work, like what's the one where he plays the? It's a true story. He's like the gang member in forget what country it is, but it was a really good movie. I'm drawing a blank on the movie name, but I feel
I mean,
like
he's
that kind of
Australian, right?
yeah, and it was yeah, and I think it was like a New Zealand type movie, but I can't remember the name of it. But he plays the real life person that it's based off of, and it's like he's hardcore in it. He's all tatted up, and Eric Bana when he wants to, he plays those dark roles. So I'm sure he was egging Pitt on like, hey, bring it on,
Mhm.
pretty boy.
Yeah.
This was Garrett Hedlund. This was his first movie
Okay.
ever, and he actually got the role 1 month after he moved to LA to become an actor. So, like, he was there,
Good on him.
found the casting people, and he got cast in his first movie right away.
Not bad if you're a Brad Pitt lookalike in the movie. Like that's
Right.
a pretty good first role.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to bode well for you in Hollywood regardless. You know
Exactly.
Right.
Well,
what? I might not have a lot going for me, but I do look like Brad Pitt.
and he's like he's not Garrett's good at like there's some movies that he's really like I really loved him in Tron, obviously. And he has some other like Four Brothers. He did
Mhm.
that early on in his career. He's really good in that. But yeah, we all have some duds. I just think his career just never like fully took off just because he wasn't, in those huge blockbuster movies. And this also launched the U.S. careers for Diane Kruger and Rose Byrne. This was their first like movie that was big in the US. And another tie to Mr. Christopher Nolan, who we're talking about, he was actually hired to direct Troy originally, but he was replaced by Wolfgang Peterson because Wolfgang's Batman vs. Superman was canceled. He was supposed to do a Batman vs. Superman movie. Nolan, after being let go from Troy, did Batman Begins. So
Wow.
kind of crazy, small world. And now
And
he not only got to do his Dark Knight trilogy, and now he's doing the Odyssey. So it's crazy.
and of course, Zack Snyder, who directed 300, directed Batman v Superman.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we've
yeah,
got this
exactly.
like interconnectivity going
Crazy
on.
little
It's amazing.
triangle. And then just one last thing. I thought this was interesting. So James Horner did most of the score for this movie. Legend. James Horner's great. But there was another composer, Gabriel Yared, and in the director's cut in 2007, they put out a director's cut, and for the music, they used parts of both of their scores, but they also put in music from the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes, The Count of Monte Cristo, and Starship Troopers. So they used some of the scores from all three of those movies, which is just weird in general, but they also combined both of the James Horner and the Yared scores. So very, very odd.
Starship
Amazing.
Troopers.
Right.
Oh man, I know.
It's great. I want to
That's
know
amazing.
what needle drop that is.
Yeah.
You know,
Nothing makes me think of Troy like Casper Van Dien. I bet he auditioned for Troy.
dude, he would have fit in this movie. Everyone from Starship
For
Troopers would have fit in
sure.
this movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
Denise Richards, she could have been I don't know. She could be whoever she wants, I guess.
At this point, she could. Yeah, absolutely. She's one of Achilles' many conquests, I believe. If one thing that surprised me when we made it to the credits, that I think maybe this is something that's changed, because I'm like, this leans into all the hokey of 2004, but maybe this is like us now that we do this, that everything has to be a franchise, like, because this is like pre the Marvel Cinematic Universe really, being a thing. I think like if they remade this type of movie as opposed to Nolan's Odyssey, like if we're going to do that director swap, right, where now we're getting a Troy movie directed by, what is it, Wolfgang Peterson, or, a
Yeah.
Snyder type.
Yeah.
I feel like at the end of it, they introduce Homer as a character. And I think, the writer of the Iliad and the Odyssey, I feel like he's sitting there on the beach, he's got a like a stone, he's writing, and And like Odysseus is telling him the story, and he's like, "What's your name again?" And he goes, "Homer." And then it cuts to black, and it's like, "We'll return." You know what I mean? It just,
Yeah.
it's a natural sequel buildup. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like Odysseus is leaving to go home, right? At the end of this. And I'm just like, this is, I don't know. I feel like they do so much hokey 2000 stuff. Why didn't they do that? And I'm like, because that was something that wasn't a thing yet. The
Yep.
cinematic universe of it all wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah. And Homer should have been played by Russell Crowe.
Dude, that would have been at the time.
Yeah.
Gladiator Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine
What
Russell
if
Crowe
Homer
playing
was
an
Homer
author?
Simpson?
Even better. Wait, didn't the Simpsons movie come out that year?
I think
Probably.
it did. Yeah,
Pretty sure it
pretty
did.
sure.
Classic.
2004, right?
Yeah.
Let it burn.
All right. One last thing I got to say before we move on. Do you guys remember hearing about the Achilles and why the Achilles tendon and the Achilles heel? Like, did you guys know that before this movie? Or did this
Yes.
movie? Okay. Because I remember hearing that in school. Like, Achilles was, half god, half man. And the mythology was that the gods must have used his heel to dip him in the power, the gold or whatever. And so his heel was the only thing left uncovered by godness. And so that's why he got killed, because his heel got broken or whatever. So
I didn't hear about the dipping, but I
Okay.
heard it was like the original boss fight, the exploit where it's like one of these parts of him lights up and you got to shoot that part.
yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was, it got named after the guy who, that was his exploit.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, fun stuff. Josh, did you figure out when Homer Simpson hit movie theaters?
Yeah, it was 2007. So
Son of a
Just
we
a
went.
few years.
It did come out when the director's cut of Troy came out, so maybe there
They
is a
should have.
deleted
Yeah,
scene on the
there's a
director's
post-credit
cut
scene.
of Buff Homer. They just did a Simpsons like a version of Troy.
Yeah. It's just the
Is
crotch
that-
gag
it's
there
the
at the end.
Yeah, I feel like that would happen before anything else would happen.
The
So.
Troy House of Horrors.
Yeah, Troy. Ooh, I like that. Troy House
Guys,
of
look at, I
Horrors.
guarantee you Simpsons has done a ton of this stuff. They
Yeah,
had to have done a ton
absolutely.
of
They
Homer
had to.
stuff.
Yeah.
They
Right?
probably. They
I mean, Homer,
probably
Iliad,
wrote-
Odyssey, Homer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Matt Groening probably is a time traveler, and he wrote the Odyssey. He probably is Homer.
Yeah.
Could that's why he named him Homer Simpson.
Don't drop this on me, man.
Did everybody's minds just pull out of their butts?
I mean, that's why the Simpsons know everything.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Try not to get so many conspiracy theories.
I'm already having trouble sleeping at night.
Bummer, dude.
All right, let's move on. Here we go. Zack Snyder's 300 graphic novel by Frank Miller. This was revolutionary at the time. This was Zack Snyder. He had already done Dawn of the Dead, which was a really great remake of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Really solid. And then he comes out with 300, completely changes for a very, very good bit of time, changes how we do action. The stylization of this movie was something like nobody had ever seen before. It's basically still the reason he gets work today is because 300 was such a massive, eye candy, amazing, visually told story. So we have King Leonidas played by Gerard Butler. This was his first big role. He is the king of Sparta, and the Persians are coming to take them all out. There is a faction of the people of Sparta that do not want to go to war, but King Leonidas believes that they need to defend themselves against them. So he gets the 300 soldiers that are not actually a part of the army to come fight with him to take on Xerxes and the many armies of Xerxes. We have Lena Headey playing his wife. We have the guy from The Wire, Dominic West, playing one of the very dark council members that takes advantage of his wife and then turns on her. And basically half the movie is the fighting and half the movie is this kind of trying to figure out how to actually go support Leonidas and keep him from dying by his wife and some of the council there. So, but man, just a incredibly visually just huge blockbuster film. I mean, we talked about Troy being a product of 2004. This was not a product of anything. This was, I feel like, just Zack Snyder's having all the range to make something visual that we've never seen before. And it was a really big success, and I think probably his biggest success, and a lot of fun to kind of see this story told in that fashion. So, Nick, let's hear your thoughts first on 300.
I was 24 when this came out. Can you imagine? That's how I'm starting. That's how like after I did it with Troy, I was like, I'm going to start all of them like this. And I watched it in that order.
Yeah.
I watched just 20 years passing just is very fantastic to me. It's just blowing my mind that 300 is 20 years old on the dot. I remember really liking this movie when it came out and thinking, man, I have never seen anything like that. And I'm a big comic book guy. And so Frank Miller, obviously, like The Dark Knight Returns, epic comic book. It's one of those things like Watchmen that if you at any point in your childhood went to a comic book store and you grew up when I did, at some point, one of the older kids told you, hey, you got to check this out. This is the cool stuff now. And then you read that and you go, oh my God, like V for Vendetta or any of that. Like I had read all those stories before those movies came out. And so 300 I actually hadn't read. They announced the movie and I was like, okay, I'll check this out. Because even at the time I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I'll do superhero stuff. I don't like his weird history one off. I'm not sure I'm super on board with that. I remember seeing the movie and thinking, visually, we can do things that I've never seen before. And it felt like, in a way, like like a Independence Day or like a Jurassic Park, where you walk in and you go like, shit, I just saw some stuff that I've never seen before visually.
Yeah.
And I think it maintains that visual groundbreaking quality to this day. Is it the best Zack Snyder movie? I mean, probably, right? Like I can't think of anything. Actually, you know what? Dawn of the Dead, I think is the best Zack Snyder. I forget that's him sometimes, at least for me.
The Guardians of Gahul got a lot of praise too. The animated owl movie. He directed that.
Yeah.
And a lot of
the
people,
effects were pretty incredible for that.
But
The
I
story
forget
was
that he
pretty
did
good
that.
too.
Yeah, but I can't place that in the same category of 300 to know where they land, right?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
an odd one for someone like Zack Snyder to pull out. But he got a lot of praise for it.
I don't know. I think it's, I mean, I've never been like a dude bro type dude, like a jock or anything like that. I feel like this movie just united the jockos and the film buffs for a brief moment. 20 years ago, though, the cracks have showed. I got like 10 minutes into it and I was like, man, I'm not going to like this movie anymore, am I? Now that I'm older and I'm a dad and stuff like that. Like, because the movie starts out with all of that, child abuse. And I just, I'm like, I can't get on board with the Spartans. You guys are kicking a bunch of kids out to go fight a wolf. And I get it. It's a hard time. And like, I like badass movies, but still, you guys just kind of seem like dicks. And so like Troy, I'm sitting there going like, I don't like these guys. I don't like the Xerxes guy. Everyone sucks. McNulty from The Wire is in here. He's terrible. Like I didn't like a single, like there wasn't a single person in the movie that I was like, okay, well, I hope they make it through, except for the Toxic Avenger guy. There was the guy, the banished soldier. That was the only character I felt anything for. And then I was like, and I remember when it came out, I was just like, well, clearly, like, that guy can't go fight with them. He'll just die. Like, I think the king's protecting him. But seeing it later, I'm just like, that probably would have been a big thrill for that guy. And Leonidas is the bad guy for not letting the, whatever he is, the inbred guy, get in there and do his fighting. So I don't know, man. It was short, and I appreciated that it was short. And I got to watch it on again, every once in a while, I like to push your home theater. And those abs sure were glistening. 0 pubes in 300 as well, by the way.
It's a theme, I think. It's a theme.
Let's see the pube meter.
Dude, the highest one by far in a landslide is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And I've never had to think about that. I've never had to rank these three movies on the pube scale. But if we're handing out a trophy, they get the pube one. Anyway, man, I don't know. It didn't do a lot for me. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think for me, I've had the same experience in that visually, it's still like the action and the slow mo and the choreography and the different types of battles of armies that came in, all the different styles of the armies, and they kept fending them off, and I mean all of that. Just visually, just great. But it's just like there's nothing else except that, for the movie. It's just for the visuals, but I enjoyed it for the visuals. and then just kind of like, all right, cool. I got that one. I watched that one again.
Same feeling, exact same feeling. I felt like literally I came in, it was on TBS, I watched it, gone.
Yeah.
Shout out to the library though, because I rented this one. I wanted to see it in the
Nice.
highest def that I could see it in without buying anything. So I
Yeah.
got a Blu-ray from the library because everyone's
Perfect.
got a copy of 300 somewhere, and I watched it.
Yeah. So I will have to say this: I was watching it, and my son Connor came out of his bedroom, and he went to the kitchen to get some water.
What
Right at the
scene?
moment that Leonidas kicked him and said, "This is Sparta," and he's like, "Dude, I came out at the right time." I'm like, you
Yeah,
did.
dude.
Good job. Now go back to your room. You can't see the rest.
Talk about a trailer line, dude.
They knew to like, because they didn't put it at they did put it at the beginning of the trailer, but like they waited just enough time to like hook people in because it looked visually cool already. And then when he did that kick, everybody was like, "Damn, this is gonna be sweet." Yeah,
Oh, and
it's
the
cool.
trailer had that sick, like that drum music, that ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. It's just building.
Yeah,
action like the whole time.
I was gonna talk about that because so that's a Nine Inch Nails song called "Just Like You Imagine," and it's
Didn't know
from
that.
their double album, The Fragile. And I'm a huge music fan also, but Zack Snyder is like, you can say what you want about his overall movies. That dude knows how to cut a damn trailer. Like, I mean, he like that 300 trailer. I remember when it came out. I think I read somewhere they premiered it at San Diego Comic-Con, and it's the first time they've ever they got the fans wanted to see it. Like, they kept telling them to replay it. They played it like 3 times at the panel because people were like, "That was the coolest thing ever." But yeah, that Nine Inch Nails song is. I mean, I downloaded it right after I saw that trailer. I was like, "I love this song." I don't even know what the hell it is, but
On Kazaa,
um,
did you
huh?
you used Kazaa or Napster to download it?
I
Was it
used
LimeWire? What'd you do?
yeah.
LimeWire.
I think well, let's see, 2006 ish.
It's
That would
fine.
have been. I think no, I think I used iTunes. I had an iTunes account because I had an iPod at the time, so I downloaded it. But
Lame.
Billy Corrigan recently
Paid
was
for
on
it.
a
I'm just kidding.
podcast, and he talked about, speaking of another Zack Snyder trailer, like the Watchmen
Yep.
trailer.
Yep.
Yeah.
They used that Smashing Pumpkin song, which was actually it was a re it was like a reinvented version of a song they did for Batman and Robin called "Beginning is the End is the Beginning," and the one in Batman and Robin's like more like the original version, like the rock. It's like a rock song, or whatever. And then they redid it for like a B-side track, and then Zack Snyder put it in this Watchmen trailer. And Billy
Blows
Corrigan
up.
talked about that recently. He was like, "We had that song, years before that in Batman and Robin, the soundtrack, and nobody gave, that movie bombed and nobody cared about that song." They were like, that song got reissued as a different version for Watchmen trailer, and like it blew up. It was like the number one watched YouTube video at the time and all that stuff. So it's just crazy, like music and its effect. But Snyder, He's he's kinda like, I wouldn't compare him like James. I feel like James Gunn knows music a little bit better, like, as far as using it in his movies and stuff, but for cutting a trailer, I mean, Snyder's like even Sucker Punch, like, he uses, Silver Sun Pickups, Panic Switch, like, that trailer's awesome. But, yeah, he just does cool things, but, yeah, you brought that up, that drum beat, and, like, I love Nine Inch Nails, but that song with that trailer and the visuals and just how, like, cool it wa I just remember how cool the trailer was when it came out and, seeing it on the big screen before whatever movies came out at the time. My buddy and I went to see 300 opening weekend, and we were like, "That movie was so much fun." Like, it was I mean, I didn't understand all of it, but, like, I didn't read the graphic novel at the time. Since then, I've gone back and reread it and stuff, but yeah, just so much fun. It's a fun movie.
Wouldn't you say that, like, I mean, I don't know. I would say this. I would say that, like, 300 definitely, like, put in the work so we could get Fury Road. And Fury Road does, in my opinion, all of this better. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's the same sort of LUT, like, filter. You know what I mean? It's like the same sort of tones, except everything is feels real or closer to real. It's like two different Cirque du Soleil performances 2 decades apart. You know what I mean? And you look at them and you go like, this one just lands better with me. I don't know. But maybe that's just me. I feel like that Miller movie just really, I don't know. It does all the stuff that I wish 300 did, going back and looking at it 20 years later. But
Yeah,
it's a
Road.
moment in time.
Yeah, Fury Road is one of the I think it's one of the biggest achievements in film history. I mean, a lot of people don't give it enough credit, but I don't think they realize like how real that movie is. Like they're actually out in the desert. Those are actual real cars. Like I think what was the percentage of CGI? It was like 5% of them or 8% of the movie, and it's really
Yeah.
honestly Charlize's arm and like some of that
Just cleaning up.
sandstorm scene.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really it. That whole
All the stunts
that
are like real stunts.
yeah, it's insane. Like I remember I saw that movie 3 times in the theaters and every time I was just in awe. I was like, this is the coolest movie I've ever seen. But yeah, I agree with you on that, Nick. That's a
So
good call.
I've got a question here because Zack Snyder has done 300, Watchmen. He basically did his version of The Dark Knight Returns, which are 3 of the most famous graphic novels of all time. And in some cases, he literally used frames from the graphic novel as his storyboard for the movie. Is there anything to be said? Because I've thought about this of like, how much credit does Zack Snyder get for coming up with these creative ideas when he really is somewhat copying someone else's creative process? He has to bring it to life. So I mean, he definitely is a director that can bring stuff to life and bring a team around him and knows how to recreate these things in a movement format. But I think when I think of like when I compare that to someone like the Wachowskis, who there was no source material for The Matrix, but they wrote the storyboard for like a graphic novel in order to try and sell the idea of the film because nobody could understand it without visually seeing it because they had so much stuff in their head. So comparing the two, there's just this sense of like he's doing a really good job at kind of bringing these graphic novels to life, but he's really copying a whole bunch from the graphic novel in the movie, which is fan service and it's cool to see. But how much, that's just a question to the audience or to the panel here. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean,
I have an easy answer.
I love the graphic novel of Watchmen, and I agree. I think I mean, he probably did it as copy and paste as you could to a live action version, minus the blue Dr. Manhattan dong and stuff. But
free the dong, man, dong cut,
blue dong, the dong director's dong.
Hey, Dr. Manhattan, no pubes on Dr. Manhattan.
I got my Dr. Manhattan. You can't see it. I have an autograph Billy Crudup 8x10 back here. It's pretty sweet.
Amazing actor, great performance. There have been no bad Dr. Manhattan performances.
Jackie Earle Haley.
The HBO show is great too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I love the HBO show. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy. And I mean, I know people hate on Batman vs Superman, but being a diehard Batman fan since Batman was my first word when I was 1 or 2. Like I grew up watching the Adam West show reruns and the Michael Keaton. I wore my VHS of the Michael Keaton one out like crazy. So that warehouse, I still say that warehouse scene in Batman v Superman is like the most accurate like comic scene of Batman that we have ever gotten. I mean, Robert Pattinson's did some cool stuff too, but like Affleck was actually like jacked and built in that. I watch that just for fun, like to make me feel good. Sometimes I'll put that warehouse scene on. I'm like, this is the greatest Batman thing. Like it just makes me feel good as a nostalgia, I guess. But yeah, I think I love Watchmen. I still enjoy 300. I until we did this episode, I hadn't seen it in a long time. Um, but Snyder, he does, every 3 or 4 movies, he does something that it's at least like 50% pretty awesome. That's how I feel. And
Yeah.
then the rest you can kind of be like, oh, I can pick apart this. Like Batman vs Superman, I know the big gripe was like it was too long and they should have taken a lot of stuff out. But then the director's cut comes out, which is even 30 minutes longer, but it made it better because there was more dialogue to like fill in the holes. So I don't know. Pick your poison, you know?
I'm gonna put the whole thing in 4-3. I wanna like what? Okay, so here's my take to Sprang's question. Okay, the Wachowskis are like Nine Inch Nails. Okay, amazing songwriters writing groundbreaking music. Snyder is like a Nine Inch Nails cover band.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
it. I mean, is it? It's the best Nine Inch Nails cover band.
Called
Yeah, the
4-3
best.
nail.
Yeah.
But yeah, but but it's not. I feel like he is like Tarantino, just kind of like filtering out. He's outputting all of the things that he thinks is cool. You know what I mean? That's kind of his brand. And
Mhm.
and like the Wachowskis, they made the Matrix happen. And sure, there's stuff that's like coming from different, media, different genres. There's a lot of influences, but still, that I think that is 100% theirs. They can claim that it's different enough to where they own it. Just like Nine Inch Nails didn't invent electronic rock music, but they certainly made their mark.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my
That's a
vibe
great
there.
comparison.
No,
Yeah.
that is really good.
Yeah. Well,
It
speaking
just
of
popped in there. I've never thought about it like that before.
yeah.
Damn, I thought I had one last thing on 300. I think, in a way, and this is something I worry about, because it's 20 years since this movie came. I have this feeling that some of the there's no real way to say this like comfortably, but I feel like some of the worst stuff that we see in not the movies, but like in people our age, like people that are like hateful and just like closed-minded and stuff like that, they probably really like this movie, and they probably always did. Because 300 is basically a story about a bunch of dudes who say, we're not going to take an insult. We can't play like that. You know what I mean? Like, they show up at the beginning of the movie, they're asking for, what is it? Like, give us land and water or something like that. And instead of using our words and compromising and things like that and trying to figure things out, these bros go, no, kick a dude down a well, we're all going to die. And it's just that I don't know. I feel like it emboldens the worst qualities in people. And I think it's a red flag if this is your favorite movie. So I'm glad it wasn't either of y'all's favorite movie, because it's just like, if you tell me 300 is your favorite movie, I'm like, dude, you're not like ever going to be around my son.
Sorry,
You'll feed
we're
that
not
kid to a wolf.
now.
I'm taking him.
Yeah,
I'm
he's not
taking him out. He's got to go fight for his life against the wolves.
I don't
for
think we
sure.
can meet up anymore. I'm sorry.
Damn it, I knew it. Josh's favorite movie. His kid comes out with a wolf pelt.
No. Like when 300 first came out, I mean, we had never seen anything like it. So I'm sure my buddies and I because I graduated high school in 2006. So like that was, I had one of my really good friends. He's in the Coast Guard now. We went and saw it a couple times in theaters and just talked about like just how crazy that movie looked on the big screen and stuff. So it was pretty awesome when it first came out. But yeah, I think like, as we've gotten older, we've all become dads and stuff. Like some of the content is not the best, but
I think
yeah,
some of us
still
like
fun.
get different things out of the movie.
Yeah,
that we
for
get.
sure.
And there's definitely some people that are just like still watching it on a semi-regular basis, going like, this is who I want to be. And it's like, nah, man, you don't want to be any of those guys. Because they all end up, the prettiest shot in the movie is when they're all dead. That last shot of the movie where the crane goes up, and I mean, it's like that's a beautiful, it looks like a beautiful photo. You know what I mean? I mean, it's gross and it's sad, but because it's a bunch of dads, right? But still.
Yeah. Josh, you got some backlot breakdown?
Zack Snyder originally wanted Brad Pitt for the lead role instead of Gerard Butler, but Pitt had a scheduling conflict, and then obviously Brad Pitt was star of Troy.
Wait, Brad Pitt was going to be the Gerard Butler role? No way.
Yeah, that's what I said too, and I was like, "There's no way." But yeah, I guess Snyder wanted him. He said he had a scheduling conflict, but I think he just didn't want to do it. Also, A lot of the weapons that they used in 300 were recycled from Alexander and Troy, so they could cut back on the cost. So a lot of the weapons in 300 were actually used in Troy as well. Zack Snyder's son actually played young Leonidas, so that young kid, that's actually Zack Snyder's real son, Eli Snyder. He was also young Rorschach in Watchmen as well. And then Tim Conley, who played Leonidas's father, is actually he was Gerard Butler's stunt double in the movie as well. And he's like a huge stunt double. He's been Hugo Weaving stunt double in the Matrix movie. He was actually, it's funny, he was in. I made a joke recently about Meet the Spartans on one of our episodes. He was actually uncredited in Meet the Spartans, which I thought was funny. And then he's been like stunt double. He's been in a bunch of stuff. John Wick, Fast and the Furious. He was I forgot whose stunt double he was for. Oh, he did stunts for like One Battle After Another, Venom. I mean, he has a huge list of stunt work. But yeah, he played not only Leonidas' father, but he was also Gerard Butler's stunt double as well. And then that unique look that 300 has, they created, and it's called the crush. That's what they call that like effect. And they basically just crush the black content of the images, and that enhances the color, like the saturation of the colors look, and it changes the contrast and the ratio of the film. So I thought that was fun. And then just one last thing, 90% of the film was on blue screen, so they filmed 90% of it on blue screen, and then just the other 10% was all green screen. So they kind of just mashed it together. But yeah, unusual, but very inventive.
There you go. Pretty awesome. And it inspired the visual style for Spartacus, the TV show.
Yeah.
Very much copied the visual style of 300
That
and
was a good, I actually
and
like
the
that show.
action and all that stuff. So
Dude, Rome
Very
was
cool.
so hot in the early 2000s. HBO had the Rome show. There was
Mhm.
Spartacus, all these movies.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Dude, I think it's insane that we name checked Meet the Spartans on the Nolan episode.
It's classic.
Yeah.
You never know,
Somebody
right?
taught
I
you,
forget what
these are
episode
also
we were
movies,
talking about.
you know?
Oh, you know what? I think it was the one that came out today. It was the Disney episode.
Yeah.
Talked
I
about
don't
Meet the
remember what
Spartans
the
again?
context was, but we said somebody, one of our guests said something, and that made me think of Meet the Spartans. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Very
not
nice.
Anyway.
making me do that one for this one. Seriously.
You're welcome. We wouldn't make you do something you don't want to do, Nick. I mean, we want you to enjoy coming on the show. We don't ever want you
Yeah,
to feel
we
like
want you
it's
back,
a chore.
Nah, dude, I would do it. I've done worse. Actually, I don't think I have.
Yeah.
Meet the Spartans pretty bad.
We should do it. We should do it like Mystery Science Theater 3000 and just trash on like pick 3
Ooh, that'd
movies
be
and
fun.
just trash on them the whole time.
If you guys want to do that for Meet the Spartans, you got me. You have my ass.
That would actually be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because I
absolutely.
have not ever seen that movie even remotely close to sober. So,
That'd be awesome.
you know,
That'd be awesome.
I don't think anything will even pop back in there. Like, oh yeah, I remember. Like, I think it's just completely lost to time.
Yes.
So
the one thing that I think is very interesting about this is that this actually inspired a group to start a race that goes around the country and the world, and they do Spartan races. And to start the race, they do the what is your profession? Hooah, hooah, hooah. So I did the race a couple months ago with my wife.
no way.
Yeah, it's a 5K with obstacles. And so yeah, I mean, it's like so when I was watching this movie, I was like, I mean, I remembered the movie and I remembered but they just copied those kind of like, let's go, do that kind of rah, 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 like let's just go out there and put forth our maximum effort, directly from the movie. And I don't know where else they would have been inspired to come up with those lines except from this movie, right?
I didn't even think about all those Spartan races.
Yeah.
Yep. Spartan races.
So here's another.
I'm glad you
take.
survived. I think it's amazing that's a 5K. I figured for a Spartan race, it's like a 3-day race and
No,
you're being chased the whole time.
They have the super race, and it can go crazy, but
Live Sprang.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. So I do have a comment to make about our next movie that's very similar. If the Spartan race was inspired by 300, then our love for groups like Mumford and Sons and Noah Kahn came from Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I looked it up to see, is this now, and the way that it comes across is bluegrass has always been folk music, has always been like they've always had their section of the world and the music industry. You know, you go back to even like the Bob Dylan biopic and you see Edward Norton's character like saying, you know, they've got their section of the music world on lock, and it's always been a part of our culture, but it's never been pop music ever until Oh Brother Where Art Thou, and it put it on the map. And people are like, I mean, I've never been a folk fan. I become a folk fan for those particular groups that just feel like there's something different about them, and makes it enough. So I just thought that I looked it up. The timing seems very perfect for it to be our generation, and a little bit, you know, we were watching this movie, and then we start to hear these groups come out like Mumford and Sons, Noah Kahn, and the Civil Wars, and these other groups, and you're just like, man, this is really catchy. Why do I like this so much? I think it goes back to A Brother Where Art Thou. And you might be wondering, you know, if you aren't sure of where A Brother Where Art Thou come from and how it fits in with the Odyssey and Troy with these period pieces, well, you might be surprised to find out that O Brother Where Art Thou was actually based off of the Odyssey, Homer's The Odyssey. And it's just based in the American South instead of ancient Greece, dealing with the Great Depression, dealing with convicts like Everett, played by George Clooney. And then they have to go break out of jail and find their way back home, just like Odysseus has to try and find his way back home. A bunch of different obstacles. We get the Cyclops, played by John Goodman. We get the Sirens. We get all of these classic moments in the Odysseus lifeline that we have never seen in this kind of format. And it's just done really masterfully by the Coen brothers. And again, the music's great. It becomes a through thread of the story and becomes a radio hit with Band of Constant Sorrow. We even played it at my church when when I was the music minister, because it's like so great. It's great. So anyway, Nick, I know you said when I proposed you being on this episode again so quickly after your last episode, you said, I have to watch Oh Brother Where Art Thou again. Of course I'm in. So share a little bit about your love for this movie.
I'm wondering if you're going to have something for the backlot breakdown, because I learned something on this one, future you. I learned that Oh Brother Where Art Thou is the first Hollywood movie to have its visuals entirely color graded digitally. So you know how the movie has that sepia tone look? They shot it on film, and 300 was shot on film. I had to check that one out because I was like, was this shot on film? It was. And they added all of the digital, that crushing that you're talking about, the color grading, they did all that in post. So I'm thinking, you know how we've tied all these together in some sort of way? I think that Oh Brother kind of pioneers that color grading method for 300 to use when it comes out. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but I do know that this one has that as its thing. And now color grading is like a major thing, you know? This came out in 2000.
Yes.
I'm going to leave the backlot breakdowns to Josh. Get ready. I was 18 when this came out. Can you imagine? 18 years old. Dude. I remember going to see this movie at the same movie theater that I go to all the time now, Northwoods, right around the corner from my house, which I probably shouldn't tell people on the internet. I'm right there. That's where I'm at. And me and my buddy Mike Ye went to go see that movie. And it's one of those things, every Coen Brothers movie that I've seen in theaters, I feel like the person that I've seen it with and I have had like a memorable time and laughed. And like you get inside jokes from going to see those movies. Like they're just so quotable. Oh Brother Where Art Thou is maybe one of the top 5 quotable movies for me from my childhood, like or from my young adulthood or whatever. It is just so dang likable and so dang memorable and so original. And to make bluegrass music at all cool, especially in the year 2000 to an 18-year-old, because I was doing the same thing y'all were. Like Man of Constant Sorrow was like in my rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what service I downloaded it from, but yeah, dude, I was like listening. Like some of my buddies developed a love for bluegrass based on this. I didn't. Like it's not something I kick on at home, but I know a couple dudes that did. Like one went so far as to pick up a banjo and learn how to play it because of this movie. So, I mean, it was a cultural moment. I don't know if this is, I mean, Fargo is probably the biggest Coen Brothers movie. This would probably be close second. I mean, I don't know. I guess like No Country for Old Men, maybe. But it's just one of those landmark movies. And I feel like for Clooney, it's goofy Clooney, Turturro, Tim Blake Nelson. Like the actors in this movie are just so good. This is the movie that I fall in love with those guys. Like, I'd already seen like Lebowski. I knew who Turturro was, but watching him throughout this movie, just his portrayal of Pete, just that dopey. It's magic. Yeah, Dapper Dan man, just all that stuff. Like just the lines, man. Watching it again this time because I feel like I pick something up every time, like a new line that I'm going to be like. It's like a Edgar Wright movie. Like every time I see him, I'm just like, oh, there's another little thing that you worked in there. When they go to hang out at Pete's cousin's house or Pete's relative's house or whatever, and he's got the son right before they drive out of the barn that's on fire. When the whole crew shows up, Pete, Everett, and Delmer, the kid shoots at him, and then he goes, "Y'all from the bank? My daddy told me to shoot anyone from the bank." I mean, just every line, even I never really thought about that line, but I'm just like, that's funny as hell. He's like, "Son, if anyone comes trying to collect a bill, shoot them."
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved watching it again. I don't know. Did you guys watch Widow's Bay recently?
No, I hear amazing things. Yeah, I haven't got to catch it yet, but I hear it's fantastic.
I don't watch television at this point. Like TV shows are just too much of a commitment. I think I've told you guys that before.
I agree.
An hour and a half, 2 hours. I can't do multiple seasons. It has to be like really vetted. And I have to know that it's going to like end somewhere. Like if you're not going to Breaking Bad this, like I'm seriously not going to watch it. And I know that's a high bar, but that's just where I watched the first season of Pluribus because the Breaking Bad guy did it. It's like Christopher Nolan, the chef has cooked a new thing, try it. And I liked it a lot. That Widow's Bay show is magic, man. I haven't seen anything like that since Twin Peaks. It's crazy. Nice. It's fun. It's just really bizarre. Feels good to watch. And Stephen Root, who plays the music producer in this movie, who's just an incredible character actor. I mean, he was in Barry. He's in this Widow's Bay show. Seeing him in this, having just seen him on Widow's Bay, just for that small role where he's the wild-eyed record producer tapping his cane. I mean, dude, just even the small characters in this movie are memorable and incredible. And I think watching it in 2026, I mean, all of the Homer Stokes stuff and the part with the Klan and all of that, it just feels like, it feels good to watch a movie make light and make fools of people that feel like that, Like, what is this heritage that you're trying so hard to protect? Oh, we just line dance in the woods. They're all just schmucks. Like, it's the goofiest thing. And I think that probably really gets under their skin. And I like that. I like that people like the Coen brothers and Quentin Tarantino in that one scene in Django Unchained just paints them as total putzes who just can't get anything right. And yeah, I enjoy that a lot. Also, it's just like super rewarding to watch Homer Stokes get run out of town on a rail like that. Absolutely. Is that a kitty that I just saw? That was incredible.
Yeah, he's a massive kitty, and he's taken over the camera.
Anyway.
I was going to also mention Mike P. Nelson did it again in Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't know if you saw that, the remake this past year.
I haven't seen the remake yet.
But yeah, he's dressed up as Santa, and he shows up at a place with a bunch of them, and just
a clan thing. And Santa takes it to. I need to see this movie now.
I know.
No, it's super fun, and Matthew Modine's daughter stars in it, Ruby Modine, and she's fantastic in it. But yeah, it's a great film.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Shout
but
out
it's
to
like
Mike P. Nelson too, friend of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Mike P, keep it up. Yeah.
Goofing he's awesome.
on and tormenting racists is like old punk rock joy for me. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
And I've always gotten a kick out of the dancing scene in this movie. I just think it's so like, what is this big mysterious meeting in the woods? They choreograph dance. It's just so funny. It's so damn funny. Also, like John Goodman's in his prime in this movie, and he's so charming.
Oh,
and
he's
even
great.
though he's just a terrible, person in the movie, It's just so that, well, just let's go hang out under this tree and we'll talk about it. Like he's just got that con man vibe totally down. And nobody looks more like a movie star than George Clooney in this movie. From his haircut to everything going on here, this kind of like thin stash that he has going on. He just looks like Cary Grant, man. This looks like a movie. God, I
Absolutely.
love this movie so much, dude.
Dude, I'm getting
George
chills.
Nelson? Can we talk about George Nelson? I'm on top of the
Yes.
world, boys.
Yeah.
I mean, babyface Nelson and just shooting cows. I hate cows worse than coppers. And then when they're running him, when they're taking him to the electric chair, that scene has always stood out where he's like, they're going to pump me full of electricity. I'm going to light up like the 4th of July. And you see the crowd taking him to the chair and there's a cow in the crowd. Did y'all notice that?
No, I didn't notice that.
It's like, the best. The last thing. Yeah, the mob that's taking George to the electric chair, there's a cow at the end of it.
Perfect.
So good. So Coen brothers.
Yeah. It's amazing.
A Pappy O'Daniel, Charles Durning in there. Just an iconic role.
Incredible cast, yeah.
Just everybody. They're all just perfect. And yeah, the Soggy Bottom Boys, man. The Soggy Bottom Boys. That little beard tug that he does. There's a lot of great trailer material in this movie, too.
So great.
It's just, I don't know. You guys tell me how much you love this movie. If anybody doesn't like this movie, you're back on the list with the guys like
you don't have a soul.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
You don't like
Dude, I had so much fun rewatching this. It was crazy. It's one of Kristen's favorite movies too, so that was fun to kind of sit down and watch with her. I hadn't seen it in a number of years, but I have a very fond. I remember watching it and loving it. Of course, the music and all that stuff. I think George Clooney, this was while he had done maybe some Hollywood stuff. Like I think this was one that kind of actually got him back in good graces. Like that he actually acted in this one as opposed to just doing a George Clooney impression. And he was great. The whole premise is just so funny, and I mean, you've already said it, Nick. Everything about this is great. I think as I was watching it this time, I was really trying to think through. And Chris and I were kind of talking through like, okay, yeah, that's the Cyclops or that's the Sirens and that's this. And because we're kind of gearing up for the Odyssey. So we're kind of doing a little bit of layering there. But yeah, just had a good old time watching it. So funny. The Dapper Dan always having to get that. And they want to say, I'm a Dapper Dan man. It's just so funny. We thought you turned into a toad.
Oh my God.
It's just so great. And and
then he repeats it again in the theater.
Yeah.
And Pete's face is just unchanged. Do not seek the treasure.
Oh, it's so great. So great.
Dude, when they walked that prison gang in to the theater, I was like, this is me in 10 years. I hope they bring me to the movies.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Just amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Josh, you got some backlot breakdown?
Yes, sir. The Coen brothers, they obviously are legends. I mean, they very seldom miss on their film. It was nominated for 2 Academy Awards that year, Best Screenplay and Best Cinematography. And we just have to talk about the cinematographer real quick because it is the legendary Roger Deakins, who's been nominated for Best Cinematography 16 times. He's only won twice, but he won most recently for 1917, the Sam Mendes movie that is one of the coolest movie. I mean, just there's only one cutaway shot in that entire movie, and it's incredible. He also was nominated for Blade Runner 2049. So, I mean, he's worked heavily with the Coen brothers. I think he's worked on all, but he didn't do Burn After Reading. He didn't do Inside Llewyn Davis. I mean, he didn't do Ballad of Buster Scruggs, but he's done every other Coen brothers movie. And he's actually been nominated for Best Cinematography 5 out of the 11 times he's worked with the Coen brothers. But he's also been, nominated for a whole list of movies: Sicario, Prisoners, Skyfall, Assassination of Jesse James, Shawshank Redemption, Fargo. Obviously, that was one of the big ones for him early on in his career. And then obviously it's a Coen brothers movie, so frequent collaborators that are in this movie that have worked with them many times. George Clooney has worked with them 4 times. John Turturro has worked with them for 4 times. Tim Blake Nelson 3. John Goodman 6. And then obviously they're not in this movie, but the ones that have worked with him the most are Frances McCormick. She has 8, and she's obviously married to Joel Cohen. And then Steve Buscemi was in 7 of their movies, so they've worked with them the most. And then not only the cinematography, but we have to talk about the soundtrack real quick because it is actually more massive than the movie was when it came out. That's how I even heard about the movie because I wasn't a big I loved movies, but, like, I didn't dive into, actual cinema at that age. I just mostly watched whatever was big at the time. But I remember my parents they bought the CD, "Oh Brother Where Art Thou," and it just played and played, and so, like, I knew all the songs, and then I finally sat down and watched the movie. To date, it has sold 9 million copies, that soundtrack. It's gone 8 times platinum, just in the US. There's actually a documentary they made about the soundtrack. It's called Down from the Mountain. If you haven't seen that, it's kind of a cool behind the scenes. I think you can watch it on YouTube, most of it for free. They actually had some follow-up albums. There was one called Oh Sister, and then I think there was like 2, Oh Sister 1 and Oh Sister 2. Those were follow-up albums. They actually did 2 tours of that album,
That's
and
great.
it won Country Album of the Year that year. It won Single of the Year, and it also won 5 Grammys that year, including Album of the Year. So that soundtrack was why I mean, the movie did really well, and it was nominated for a bunch, and, it had a huge fan following and stuff, but the soundtrack kind of, like, gave it a double life almost, so pretty cool, but, very fun. Definitely, what you were saying earlier about, like, George Clooney, it's kind of like not a typical George Clooney role. He very seldom does a role where he's, like, kinda more comedic than he is, like, dramatic. There's another, movie, it's not the Coen Brothers, but it feels like a Coen Brothers movie. I think it's one of the funniest movies. It's called Men Who Stare at Goats, and George Clooney is the star of that movie. Ian McGregor's in it as well, Kevin Spacey, but that movie is so funny, and it feels like a Coen Brothers movie, but George Clooney's in that one as well. But yeah, just super fun. It's crazy to think it came out 26 years ago. It still stands as one of the more popular Coen Brothers movies. I feel like they do a really good job with their, like, movies that focus on musicians, because I mean, obviously, they got a lot of praise and accolades for, Inside Llewyn Davis as well, which is also a very different film than Oh Brother Where Art Thou, but also, I mean, it deals with musicians and stuff, so pretty cool. But, yeah, overall, it was fun to go back and rewatch this one. Definitely my favorite of the 3 that we were gonna talk about. I'm just super fun.
Yeah.
It get a lot of nostalgia, like, just makes me think of my parents and stuff because, like, I swear they listened to that album so many times in the car and at home, and I think I still have the CD somewhere. I have some CDs I brought from Colorado that my dad was when he was moving to Austin, he just gave them to me. I think I have that one. And, Clooney was cleansing his palate too. You were talking earlier about he kinda was, like, trying to get back on top of his acting and stuff. He did Batman and Robin in 1997, so this was 3 years after that. And I enjoy Batman and Robin. I mean, I know it's not great at all, but, like, it's so fun, and I was a kid when it came out, so, like, I that movie was intended for kids. It was all the bright colors and the awesome soundtrack, really fun soundtrack, but, but yeah, so George Clooney. Also a funny story about he did a movie in between those, so Batman and Robin and Oh Brother, he did a movie with Nicole Kidman called The Peacemaker, and just a funny story about my parents real quick. So, like, back in the Blockbuster was still around, and, like, I'm talking VHS tape. My parents rented that. They didn't realize that it was the same movie, like, they rented that movie, like, 4 different times, like, 4 different occasions, and so it's become, like, an inside joke with, like, my dad now, like, that now that I'm older. Every time I see The Peacemaker, I, like, take a picture of it when I'm out and about. I'm like, "Dad, remember this movie?" Because like, I was a kid when it came out, and I remember seeing the Blockbuster case. So they were like, "We rented a new movie to watch tonight," and I, like, looked at the case. This was, like, the second time they rented it, and I was like, "You guys already saw this movie." And then my parents looked at each other and like, "Did we?" And I was like, it's called The Peacemaker. What other movie
That's
do you know that's
great.
called The Peacemaker? And it has 2 of the biggest stars right now in Hollywood. And so they were like, "Okay, maybe you're right." And then they watched it and they were like, "Oh, we did see this." Then, like, flash forward a few months later, sure enough, they rented a movie from Blockbuster and it was The Peacemaker. And they could not, that movie, for some reason, they couldn't remember that they rented it already like 2 times.
Oh my
So, like,
goodness.
it's become I don't know
I
what
love
was
it.
going on with that movie, but it made them not remember. So, every time I see that pop up, that makes me relive being a child and being like, "You guys already saw this twice.
Yeah.
You saw The Peacemaker."
That's
I'm telling you
that's the
right now,
most forgettable
I
movie.
didn't even see The Peacemaker. You guys have seen it. You've sat down and watched it. I didn't. I only saw bits and pieces of it,
Oh, that's
but
great.
I'm telling you, you already saw it. But yeah, it's just a funny little. My brother and I always get a kick out of that because we're like, you guys already saw The Peacemaker like 7 times. So.
It's the movie equivalent of room temperature. It's water. It's
Yeah.
flavorless. You know it happened, but it's just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's wild.
Super funny. Yeah.
One other connection I had to draw is George Clooney played Batman in Batman and Robin, and Christopher Nolan directed Batman Begins, the Dark Knight trilogy. There we go. Everything's connected, guys. Everything's connected. Nick, any final thoughts?
I'm surprised it didn't get a "Now That's What I Call Oh Brother Where Art Thou" CD. Like,
that would have gotten 10 times platinum.
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
that's
Or
wild, dude.
or a Kids Bop version.
They don't have that? They have to.
They have to, yeah.
Rockabye Baby, Oh Brother Where Art Thou? I guarantee
Yeah.
you. It's
Yeah.
out
Kids
there.
Bop. You know the Coen brothers, but you've never heard them like this.
Dude, I feel like this came out in the era where we still had like late night commercials that would like sell you a CD
Mhm.
and show you the track list. They'd be
Yeah.
like, "You like those soggy bottom?" Isn't it weird that in the movie, the Soggy Bottom Boys, it's like a one-off thing. They sing just to make a couple bucks, and it's the whole thing of the movie is that's taking off in the background. They're unaware of it.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
show up at that rally at the end. They sing their song. They realize that they're celebrity. But isn't it kind of funny that in real life, the Soggy Bottom Boys did win Album of the Year? Like,
That's crazy. Yeah.
it pushes through. It really does exactly what happens in the movie in
Yeah.
2000. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not
Well,
realize that it won Album of the Year.
I think that there's a Mumford and Sons video that has like all those SNL guys or comedians or whatever. And I think they were trying to like kind of make a video that was, kind of mimicking "Oh Brother Where Art Thou." That's what I got from it, just because of how it was. But it was like Jason Sudeikis,
Mm-hmm.
I
Will
think I remember that.
Forte.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like 4 famous comedians. Yeah, and they
Ed
all
Helms.
played the Yeah, Ed Helms, and I forget who the 4th one was. Maybe it could have been Paul Rudd, I guess. I don't know.
Sounds right.
But yeah, anyway, I think they were trying to mimic "Oh Brother Where Art Thou," so it's
amazing.
yeah, it's awesome.
Very cool.
Who's doing the music for the Odyssey? Does Nolan work with the same person every time? Because he definitely has the epic music on lock. He is the wah
So
guy.
he's been
Yeah,
Like, I feel like
between
Snyder changed trailers, and I feel like Nolan.
yeah,
like
this
Nolan-
one's
yeah,
the
between
same guy as Oppenheimer.
Okay.
Gorson.
Ludwig.
Ludwig Gorson, who did
Yeah.
Black Panther, Sinners, like he's
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
The guy
Yeah.
who did Sinners?
Yeah.
That's the same guy?
Yeah.
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 That Sinners soundtrack was out of control.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
And
He's
he asked him
I think
to use nothing but period level instruments and like recreate instruments that we don't have in real life anymore. Now, he did end up banging on like air conditioning units and like metal things that we do have, but he's like he's not using instruments. He's like Nolan asked him to really kind of find that authentic sound. So I mean, he's on fire, man. Like he's
that dude's crushing
20
already
something,
at
he's
an
been
early
nominated
age.
for Oscars like crazy. So but yeah, Ludwig Göransson. So gonna be epic. I know.
Yeah,
Can't
he's
wait.
already won. He's already won 3 times. He won for Black Panther, Oppenheimer, and Sinners, and then he also did the theme song for Mandalorian as
Hmm.
well,
Yep.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is a great theme song, and
Oh,
it's
very fun, yeah. He
yeah.
uses he's very intriguing because he uses, like, different cultured instruments to, like, bring the song whatever fits with the movie or TV show, he seems to know exactly what he needs to, like, put together, so
And
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
for the
space
Mandalorian,
western music for The
right?
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
yeah,
It's just like how do you know what that sounds like? That's exactly
right?
what that
That's
sounds like.
what's crazy is that
Make a song.
that sound, even for the Western, was borrowed from kind of the Asian culture, that
Oh
pan
yeah,
flute type thing, and then he goes and finds that old flute that he learned how to play, and he just picked it up and he's like, "I gotta that maybe this will be something," and then just played those 2 notes, and he's like, "That's it." And it's just like, and then he just
Yeah,
sits at his computer and writes the whole thing,
crazy.
and it's just like, it's wild, man. He's got a and he doesn't write scores, like, he creates the songs and then he prints the scores. So he creates everything in his computer and he plays a lot of the instruments like the guitars and stuff like that. But then some of the stuff he just kind of creates in the synth and then prints the scores and then directs the orchestra.
orchestra.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just super,
Yeah,
super talented,
bonkers.
super talented. I mean,
But yeah,
I've,
no, I mean, Nolan uses, him and Hans Zimmer, like, between the 2 of them, it's like, can't get much more epic than that.
yeah,
Did
Hans
Zimmer do
Zimmer
the
did,
new Dune too? Is he doing the new Dune?
yeah,
I think so,
yeah.
yeah,
So we
pretty
Because
got
that
sure.
trailer's
John,
got that ripper in there, you know?
yeah, we did John Williams Disclosure Day, I'm sorry, Hans Zimmer for Dune and Ludwig Göransson all in the same year. So best soundtrack or best score is going to be bonkers. Come on.
Oh, for the Oscar? Yeah, it's gonna be insane.
See, and that's the thing is you get these guys, like, we were talking earlier about Nolan and how he brings that kind of ambiance. Like, Sprang, you were talking about people just follow him to the island. Like, that's his strength as a director, is that he's able to assemble this team that's just all stars. And they trust him and he trusts them and they all are in that flow, down to the score. And so I think you see it too with like the Coen brothers. You're talking about Deakins being the cinematographer for them. Like they just get it. They get what the director wants to do and they do it perfectly. But you're having this perfect, like this the score guy is like, I just do the French fries, but I make the perfect French fry, you
Right.
know, exactly the one that's gonna fit this plate. So yeah, I
Well, and
mean,
even Nolan, like, before we got on tonight, I was watching an interview with, Anne Hathaway and Tom Holland, and she was talking about the IMAX cameras and what they had to do for the Odyssey to, like, film some of the scenes because the IMAX cameras are so loud and it's hard to get dialogue in there. So Nolan and his team basically made up these, like, protectors that go around the IMAX cameras so they're quieter. And then there's a mirror system so that the actors can still see who they're acting with. And so they don't lose track of that. And Anne Hathaway was like describing it really cool. But yeah, he's a visionary and he's always trying to outdo himself every movie. And like, I don't know how, I mean, I can only imagine what Nolan's Odyssey is going to be like. Like, I don't know if you can after this, I don't know what he will do to like outdo. I mean, unless he makes the first movie like actually in space or
Actually,
something. I don't know.
it's like,
Something crazy.
yeah,
no,
it's
just more.
wild.
Just keep doing them and do them
Yeah.
exactly as frequently as you want to do them,
Yeah.
and like
It's insane.
nobody just write him blank checks for the rest of his life. Like it's a
Yeah.
James Cameron sort of situation we're dealing with
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I learned that I guess the camera they shot. This is the first movie shot entirely on IMAX film, and they had to reload the camera every 2.5 minutes because the film will only fit. Like
Yeah.
that's the most film you can fit in a camera. So they're having to just do these takes and then reload. But I also learned that every frame of that film is 3 times the resolution of the highest digital image that you can get. So, I mean, film really does capture the way that the eye sees best, better than anything right now. And I think that's so crazy that we nailed that like right out of the gate. Like before we got all the computers and all the other stuff, like film. you know? Like, it really is the best paint for the canvas, you know what I mean? Or the best canvas for the paint, I guess, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm stoked, man. I think it's just gonna be a masterpiece.
Insane.
It's crazy. I can't believe, man, like Thursday night, guys. Go Thursday night, go Friday night, go every chance you can get. If you got a A-list or you got some other subscription service, see it as many times as you can. This movie is going to be bonkers. I've got 4 tickets. Nick's got his tickets. Josh has got his tickets. We're all going to theaters to see this. This year has been crazy for films. Lots of people have been going to see things like we talked about, Obsession, Disclosure Day, tons of people going to the movies. We've got some bangers coming out. We've got this. We've got Brand New Day, Spider-Man. We got Doomsday later this year. So let's keep supporting film.
Big year.
Big year. And we're
Absolutely.
making our way back post-COVID. Man, Nick, thank you so much again for being on
Yes,
the
sir.
podcast, man. This is so fun.
Love talking to
always
you
love
guys.
talking. Yeah, absolutely. So what can people find you? What do you got going on that they can come check out?
Okay, so Papanaut on YouTube. I got my July picks up. I'm starting to do, because I did that video a while back where I predicted Obsession. And since Obsession like turned out to be like a crazy, like in January, I was like, Obsession's going to be the next Weapons. I didn't realize it's going to be like far surpassing Weapons as far as like impact and stuff. But I did nail it in that Weapons was the movie that everyone was talking about as far as horror last year, and this year it's Obsession. So a lot of people keep showing up in my comments asking me like, well, what are your other picks? And so I'm just going to do every month, I'm going to do like a week by week breakdown. Here's what's coming. Here's what I want to go see that week. And so I got that one up this weekend for July, kicking off, I guess, this coming week with the Evil Dead Burn. Can't wait. Don't know anything.
Nice.
Know nothing
Dope.
about it.
Nothing.
So I'm
Yeah.
really excited for that. And then on Instagram, I'm popping out working. I do my I'm trying to do more of the frequent short form because I finally figured out how to edit to a decent like clip where I can probably get something out every couple of days. So I'm trying to increase my frequency on Instagram. And then I'm trying to really like, polish my YouTube stuff. So it's been a little bit slower there. I'm trying to make the longer form content, worthy of long form. I don't have, 8 minutes of stuff to talk about. Why do I do that? I say that as we almost hit the 2-hour mark on our podcast.
Yes.
But that's different. I like talking to you.
Yeah,
You guys are here.
for
It's not just me.
Right. I don't know if I could do an hour-long podcast just me talking to myself. That's why I love having Josh here, and then our lovely guests too. So,
And I know that based on the amount that I talk on this, you would assume, yeah, he could just do. No, I can't. I have to talk to other people. So anyway, that's all I got going on.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Well, everybody, please go follow Papanaut on YouTube, Papanaut Working on Instagram. Give him some love, like his videos, comment, do all the stuff because he's amazing. And thanks again for being on. Looking forward to the next time. We'll figure it out down the road. Hope you'll be back.
Hell yeah, dude. Good seeing you guys as always.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to jump over to our website, moviesthatmakeyoupodcast.com. See all of our links. Follow us on Instagram so you never miss an episode, a live stream, or an interview. And until next time, keep watching movies.